Yeah, it might be. There's certain things that might be interesting from an engineering point of view. Like I don't know if you had that type of. I don't know if you have a phone or not.
A cell phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just discussed with a woman down. She was in Toronto yesterday. Habits.
Yeah.
And apparently Wi-Fi, like, I mean, I'm not as allergic to Wi-Fi as she is, meaning wireless fidelity, I think she called it. But she's very concerned about how these microwaves are affecting the human genome. And it's not like an immediate thing, it affects our DNA over time and all this kind of stuff, which I believe is something definitely needs to be. I think we're
what if you had that phone? What if people had that phone hanging around their neck and
I believe the officer would soon take that phone.
Even the new
immediately tell you to turn it off.
Even how do they know if it's on though?
Well, you see, one thing that's maybe Max.
And if it's not a G4 iPhone, going live to quick.com, immediate posting, you're going live stream, that's the best case scenario.
So suppose that you're going live stream to Blogger, or we have Blogger, a thing called Cyborg Blogger. So if it's blogging, I mean that's what we did years ago.
Well, even
then it blogs when you turn the phone off too, and when you turn it off, it blogs twice as fast. So, but the idea is that you have the off button, so when you turn it off, then it records faster with more bandwidth, and because it realizes we're in an emergency situation.
That's phenomenal. That's fantastic. We need that kind of technology. As I'm sure you're expressing, because of what happened recently here in this city and with the G20.
Yeah.
There's a lot of concern.
You realize that they are operating outside the law on the G20.
Well, they often, I mean, on a film set, they also operate outside the law. It's the same thing as just a film production crew.
They're all acting.
In a film production, there was a violation of the law where the electrical wiring was unsafe, and I was just recording some video of the unsafe wiring on a public street, but I was physically assaulted by a police officer.
No way.
The officer was clearly breaking the law. The question really comes down to what you do when the law is being broken. How do you respond to that? What's the right way to respond to the breaking of the law?
It doesn't initiate more violation of that
same
law.
That you do respond. You see, I think there's so much confusion with the law now that people are increasingly being held hostage because of the economics. It's all about the economics, and you see, when you read on the back of that about the lawyers, you see, they have made it almost uneconomic for the private citizen to defend themselves in this through the courts. But that's because of the statute legislative law, which has basically subjugated this law of nature, where when that happens to an individual, we need to be able to invoke it's called the de jure law as opposed to the de facto. The definition in law of de facto is illegitimate. And that's what we're presently
the Governor General is the de facto leader of Canada.
Illegitimate law now that will rapidly slide. Like this thing goes in an accelerating pace downward if it's not resisted. So people, like in my case, when I was stopped there with my equipment, I was actually kidnapped. My equipment was stolen. It was damaged. Okay, and I received charges that I'm presently appealing of cause disturbance, which was, I've got the video of the event.
How did you get the video of the event?
My wife came along and did a video that shows where the equipment was positioned when I was arrested. And the officer stated in court that it was blocking half the lane, the traveled lane. And the judge at the time would not allow that video evidence in. Okay. Now, we have to realize it took a lot of people. Like, see, I think where we're handicapped is people don't realize the importance to the judicial system to obtain the corporate fiction that's been created at birth. And they can only get that through.
Is that case still ongoing?
Yes.
So now they won't.
Well, I'm appealing it because of the fact that it wasn't allowed to be entered. But you see, the whole judicial system has this job if they want to maintain their licenses. You see, they want to license farmers now because food is at risk from radiation, listeriosis, and endless stuff. They want all the food going under the barcode, and when you realize what happens to the food when that happens, you would realize we're heading down a very dangerous road, because we are trying to promote local food for local people. That if you want real food, you don't go to a grocery store and buy it in a package with a whole lot of labels on it. You go and you pick it off a tree or a vine, or dig it from the ground, or a plant for, or an animal for meat. But what I'm trying to say here is, I was under de jure law, under natural law. I was kidnapped, I was robbed, and my property was damaged. And there should be remedy, and there is remedy through de jure law. But the courts have gone so far astray now in the statute legislative area of de facto, they won't allow, and the lawyers, the whole legal system is part of this, they won't allow you to that remedy. Okay? And so I'm saying that from that point of view, we're now going to slide, and when this martial law comes in, it's the boy with the gun on the front lines that dictates to you what you're due or you're dead. Like, we see this all over the world, and we seem to think that it's over there.